The flood has been the top priority. I've only been here I started in April, so I've had to, when there's so much going on, you have to kind of keep track of everything. So, it's broken out here, I do it, into departments. These are all the departments of the town, so the highway department, water and wastewater, emergency services, so that's the police department, the fire department, the ambulance. We have our planning and zoning department, which handles all the permits in town, which is big right now because everybody's trying to rebuild. So there's certain things they have to do from the town and for the state in order to be able to rebuild and reopen. So that's a big thing. Obviously, we want to try and get everything reopened, especially for the winter. Buildings and grounds, it's kind of two things. So the skate park, we have a new skate park, that opens on Sunday. Check it out. It would be really good.
Right.
So that's the big one. Obviously, it's here because there's a new sign that they're putting in. So I had to make sure that they were putting a sign in. Rec department is the other one. So skate park as well, but also baseball. The Little League fields as part of the flood were really hurt. So we're actually going to move the baseball fields from the Little League field now. See, and that's the ambulance. So now the ambulance is going somewhere. Nowhere.
But he keeps track of it too.
Yes.
All that stuff.
So the Little League field is going to be moved up to by you guys up at the school. You guys have been to obviously to the wastewater plant, and it looks literally as though a bomb hit it. And before, about a week ago, I had numbers on here that was broken down of how much everything costs. And they say to rebuild their wastewater plant is going to be $15 million. And that's to put it back the way it was. But as you guys said with the mobile home park, it's the same thing that
It's going to get hit again?
it's going to get hit again. So you try to do what you can, and they call it mitigation, which means preventing things. And the big thing is, with the wastewater plant, they want us, all the buildings that you saw there, they want to lift them up 6 feet. That's with this flood. You guys have heard about this, went through it, and you probably heard about Irene, which you're probably much younger. But things that were destroyed during Irene didn't get destroyed during this flood, generally speaking.
As much.
The infrastructure, roads and things that were put back, because they were put back better than they were before. So that's my focus right now is, as we talk about the floods, is trying to get things because we've spent, we spent a lot of money at this point, millions of dollars, and now we have to try to get it back from FEMA. FEMA pays us back. But overall, that's a snapshot.
So out of the 10 million?
For the wastewater plant?
No, that we've spent.
Right now, we spent 2.5.
2.5.
But, the damage estimates for the town is 40.
$40 million. A certain percentage of that $40 million you're hoping is going to be paid by the federal government from Washington.
Federal government will reimburse you up to, being the key word, 75%.
If you have the right documentation. Correct. And then the state of Vermont will also kick in
up to 12%. So then you're left with 13% of what you spent, where right now it's about $150,000 that we would have to pay in an ideal situation.
And that would come from where? Taxpayers. That's right. And so this board changes every time I come in to see Brendan, and I come in to see him because he's my town manager. I come in to see him about the skate park, or the tennis courts. Or the recreation department, or the school. I've come in and talked with him about the school.
Yeah, and I usually have, this is just the way I do it, because there's so many with it, in the town, obviously. There's things that you can plan on doing, and then there's things that just happen. And you have to, like in anything, you got to read and react. So, one day you could be standing here, and then the next day your town could be flooding. So I have, things that I need to do. Then I usually write down what day it is so I don't forget. And then ongoing things, but I make sure I have to, a lot of it is making sure I get out and see the appropriate people and
You get out to all your departments.
Get out to all of them every day.
Yeah.
Zoning map, so you have, they mentioned the planning and zoning department, the town is broken up into different zones
Yeah.
for the department. So you have, the business area, then you have the village, this is more recreation. I want to say that all of this here, this is Okemo, so that's what's called the mountain recreation. Some of the lakes regions, so it's all broken out, and depending on what you want to do, you're limited to, you can't put certain things in certain zones, is the long and short of it. And every town is different, and
Yeah.
this is I'll tell you, this has probably been the biggest learning piece for me, because I said I was the town manager in Cavendish, and we had no zoning.
Yeah,
So it
no
was basically
zoning.
the Wild West.
No zoning.
You could do whatever you wanted.
You could build whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. You didn't have to go to the town about
And
anything.
there was nothing.
And
So,
that sounds fine, doesn't it? Oh, I can build whatever I want. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do. But so can my neighbor. My neighbor can build and put in a huge dump truck, dump garage right next to me. Or a rock and roll place right next to my bedroom.
Yep.
And I have no say over that because there's no zoning in Cavendish. But in Ludlow, one of the things that I was listening to at your town meeting this last time, how many of you know where the GE plant is, the old GE plant? That's right, it's right over there. They called that the old GE plant because it was a GE manufacturing plant. And now it's condominiums,
Yeah.
and they have a bar, and
That's my phone.
it sounded like
That's mine.
my brother-in-law. I use the same one as that. So they have a bar and a restaurant, kind of a restaurant, underneath that, and because of the flood, because it's right next to the river, they're having to do a lot of work, and the people who are living upstairs,
Yeah.
the people who are living upstairs wanted them to change something in the bar to make it less noisy for the people who are living up above.
Yeah.
And there's the town regulations, and then there's the condo association regulations, and it's a lot of hoops that some people have to go through.
There are.
So you can see the purple up there too.
Usher.
So can you imagine the purple? What kind of regulations might they have around the purple if you were building a house? Lydia.
Flood,
So what would that mean?
water, you can't, well,
That you not build too close or too far, too close to the water's edge, right? Or where your septic went, right? Because most, like a bunch of you, like me, have your own leach fields, right? So you can't have your leach fields too close to the lake, right, up there. And you'd also probably have to build it at a certain height, certain regulations. So that's why that's a different zone. All these different colors are different zones. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. And what's nice too is that we've been studying the Black River watershed too. And people keep saying, including my wife, Brendan, why do we keep building the Shaw's grocery store there? And the kids asked, down there to the trailer park, so why do you keep building here? And we kind of started to figure out the answer to that. They couldn't live any other place.
Exactly. That's,
And as Jerry said, do you want to buy my place?
yeah. There's really, at some point, your options are limited. So.
It is interesting. All these and Brendan has to listen to all these different opinions.
Yes.
And it's really, his job is really hard, but he's the perfect man for it because first of all, he understands the laws, but he also listens to everybody's point of view.
That's a key.
That's the key. And to understand their point of view and sometimes say, I get what you're going through, but.
Yeah, that's the tough one.
That's the part.
But.
Is the but part.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. How did you get interested in this field, Brendan?
I don't know. I actually went to school when I was graduated high school. I went to college to be a physical education teacher. I went to school for PE. I graduated, was not a physical education teacher. I actually worked for 3 or 4 years for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Doing that, learning management skills, things like that. Then I took a job at Green Mountain, and I worked at Green Mountain for 10 years. I started, believe it or not, with Kelly Goodrich in the office as a sub. Then I went from there to be
Kelly?
I was the athletic director and buildings and grounds and transportation director
Listen
there
to that was,
for a while.
and that was a lot to handle.
That was a lot, but it was something I knew that I needed to do. I think I did that. Needed to do to, build myself up and learn the
Build up your
experience.
resume.
And then after about 10 years of that, I had a daughter who was very young, and the town manager job came open in Cavendish, and I threw my hat in the ring, and here I am, and then I was offered this job about 6 months ago, and it just seemed, likely fit. So if
It's
anything you can
interesting.
learn from that story is experience as much as you can.
And life is a journey.
It is, because I would have, if someone had asked me if I would have been in municipal government when I was in high school, I would have laughed them out of the school. I said, no way. Not even close.
But I can tell you one of the reasons why he's done so well on all these things. If you listen to those type of jobs, all of those jobs dealt with people and how you deal with people. Like some people who do that now, whether it's at the pizza shop or I said, Lydia works not only at the Ludlow Pizza right now, but during the summer she works down for Jamie down at the Villagers. Yeah. So she knows what it's like to deal with people.
It's difficult, but it is a tool.
But it's rewarding.
It's rewarding, but it's also a skill that will get you a lot of places if you can and I always say, take the time to be nice to people and, listen. And again, your opinions, as Mr. Blige says, you don't have to agree with people about everything, but a lot of times people just want to hear you listen. That's huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Who knows what the next step will be in Brendan's life.
I don't plan on going anywhere.
He doesn't think so, but you never know. Could be governor.
Yeah, this could be the last time. So.
You never know. Never say never.
This is okay.
Never say never. And the thing is, each one of those jobs, he's reached into different groups of people too that he's working with. And now he's not only working with all of Ludlow, but he also deals with the state, other towns. He deals with other town managers and the state departments, and now with FEMA,
Yep.
federal government. Which, I mean, you did some of that during Irene.
A little bit, yeah.
Because of that. Lydia knows because of 131.
Oh yeah.
Got wiped out so badly both times, really.
So it's you learn a lot, you meet a lot of people, and I have friends now that same boat, and I have some of my best friends right now are secretaries for the state of Vermont. Work for the governor. So
Yeah.
it's you never know where you're gonna go. So,
Yeah.
my phone is going crazy.
I think that's mine.
No, that's
No, it's his.
Oh, was his?
Yes, his.
My brother-in-law in California.
Yours goes through your watch.
It does go through my watch as well. That's true.
And his phone turns on.
And my phone turns off. Yes. So quite a lot on your calendar there too. So
Yes.
we won't take up too much more of your
No,
time.
I'll give you a quick
Let's
tour
take a
if you
tour.
want. Sure. They work in the clerk's office. Now they are very important because they handle most of all the money in the town, amongst a number of other things. So this is where all the taxes come in here. Keep track of this is the vault where all the land records are.
The land records. So again, Lydia and Michaela. So the property that your folks own, it would be listed in there, and who owned it before, and who owned it before, and who owned it before, and who owned it before. Right? And this goes way, way back. And notice it's in a safe.
Yes. So, and then this is Diane. she's in the office next door, so she keeps track of day-to-day operations in that office. More importantly, keeps track of me for the most part, which is important because otherwise I'd go crazy. You can hand those out if you'd like. They brought some apple pie they made for everyone.
Oh, did you? Oh, how sweet. Thank you so much.
From scratch.
Oh, wow. Nice, thank you very much.
Fishing licenses.
Dogs.
Dogs licenses, yeah.
Yeah, brother or sister licenses.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll end up studying, we're gonna do more about local government as the year goes on too. But we're mostly right now finishing up our flood understanding. And so that's why we were coming down to speak with Brendan
Okay.
about what he's been doing with that.
It's been busy.
He's been busy, as everybody has been.
Yes.
Great.
Come on.
And I think this is, you guys have been upstairs. This is
Oh,
our
sure. Is there anybody still over here?
conference room. I don't know if Cherry's in there, I think, but we can go in there. Sure.
Just to give,
Yeah. This is like the clerk's office. Kind of handles, it's kind of a hub. We have two that handle different kinds of business. So things here, utility payments, general questions, transfer station stuff is a big one. Cherry's here helping with a ton of stuff with FEMA. A lot of all the select board and trustees agendas are filtered through here, and it's kind of a back and forth between here and my office. So pleasure.
Good to
Have a
see you all
wonderful
again.
day and an even better weekend.
we want them,